And action.
I might as well inquire why, with so evident a desire of offending me, you choose to tell me that you liked me against your will.
Pride and Prejudice. It is a story about overcoming the obstacles that get in the way of seeing things as they really are.
I'm not ashamed of the feelings I related. They were natural and just.
I think what makes Mr Darcy so relevant and compelling to listeners today is the fact that he's essentially a man that is caught up in his own ideology so much so that it's sort of stunting his growth.
Mr Bingley watched Jane through the whole dance. Well, she's the matriarch of the family, Mrs Bennet. She's really dedicated to sort of getting her daughters married.
As we know, it's the birth of rom-coms.
From now on, I shall do everything you say.
It manages to tell you something about people and humanity and families, and human beings.
It's about love, which we all universally know and understand, but it's also about reputation.
Because honour, decorum and prudence forbid it.
How astonishing. Has he finally learnt some civility, or...?
Which lady has inspired such agreeable reflection?
It's a story about passion. It's not just a story for girls, and it's hot.
Getting tripped! Did you see? I couldn't stop myself laughing.
No, I didn't, Lydia.
It's fine, Kitty, I promise. No one saw.
I didn't trip. Oh, my dear Lizzie, I have been looking for you.
My dearest Charlotte, I don't have to look for you. We've all seen you dancing with our most honoured guest, Mr Bingley.
Mrs Bennet, may I introduce my good friend, Mr Darcy?
Your sisters are taken. Who else am I supposed to dance with?
Mr Darcy, sorry, Louisa and I are having a little quarrel and need you to adjudicate. You're not busy, are you?
Not at all.
Pride and Prejudice is a coming-of-age story about a young woman called Elizabeth Bennet. She is at a point in her life where she thinks she sort of knows it all, and she's about to discover that she really doesn't. We've got Marisa playing Elizabeth Bennet. She's managed to take this really iconic role, and she's really given us something new. And I think she has this twinkle in her eye that she manages to convey in her voice. She just has this cheekiness and this playfulness.
Delighted to meet you, Miss Bingley. But I sympathise. It sounds as if you're in the midst of a real emergency. Please don't let us keep you.
When I read this script, I just thought it was such a fun, new, but really sort of true to form version of Elizabeth. She's aware of her own flaws. She's able to laugh at them, but she's also able to grow and change. I think this is probably the most excited my mum has ever been for any job I've ever had.
Oh, Mr Darcy, do you enjoy a ball as much as your friend?
No, not quite.
Our Darcy is maybe what's most contemporary, I would say, about this adaptation. I would say he's not as rude as he is in certain other interpretations. He's a little awkward and he is a little shy. Lizzie's very clear and simple, I feel, because she's so alive on the page. Darcy is very difficult because he doesn't speak really very much. I had to give him a lot more to say than he says in the book, which is kind of it's a big challenge, I think.
Well, have you ever known such a disagreeable man?
No, I haven't.
He's essentially a man that is caught up in his own ideology so much so that it's sort of stunting his growth, You speak to other people about roles like this and they're such everyone goes, oh, it's such an iconic role, and of course there's a joy in that, but then there's also an intimidation because you can't get caught up in the idea of someone. You kind of have to find your way into it that feels fresh.
Harris has the ability to be the most awkward person in the world and at the same time be the most confident person in the world. So he really fuses things really nicely. Yeah, have an experiment with whatever you want to do.
This is your opinion of me, eh? Thank you for explaining it so fully. According to you, my fancy heavily indeed.
It's really nice to get them in the room together, playing off of each other. I think when you have two people like that, you just get magic with it.
We would so love a ball.
Then it's settled. Once I have enough chairs to seat people, we shall throw a ball.
Do you promise?
Do I promise? I do. If you find me a Bible, I'll even swear to it.
The Meriton Ball scene is introducing all the characters. It's sort of setting up where Elizabeth's from, where the Bennets are from. Meriton, it's like down to earth and kind of lower middle class, working class. It sort of sets up the excitement that everyone has in Mr Bingley and Mr Darcy coming into town. And Elizabeth overhears him throwing some shade and gets very, very offended, even though she pretends not to be offended. And it sort of sets up, you know, what's going to happen for the rest of the story. Excellent.
Happy, Dionne?
Yeah, really happy.
Great.
Jane Austen was really subverting things, and I think Lulu's done an amazing job with like staying true to a lot of the text in the book, but also like bringing it into the modern as well.
I've been a selfish being all my life and still might have been, but for you, dearest, loveliest, Elizabeth. I was not trying to be innovative. I was just, as a really big fan of the book, I just wanted to do an adaptation that I knew that I would enjoy as someone who loves the book, and still might have been, but for you, dearest. It's the hard balance about doing adaptation of this period, is that you want to get across that relatability to the women of like, yes, when they fancy someone, it's like when we fancy someone. And that's amazing because it just kind of allows you to break into it. Within doing that, you don't want to lose the stakes that marriage was a very serious business then. And it's the only way as a woman that you can kind of leave your home and it will make your financial future and your stability for the rest of your life. And I think acknowledging that is also very important.
It definitely took me a minute to just figure out how to sort of give some good direction and be helpful. Like the scene where Mr Darcy says, "Hold still."
Oh, Miss Bennet.
Yeah.
Hold still.
Oh.
I apologise. This twig was in your hair.
Oh.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome.
And he pulls something out of her hair, and I was reading that in the script, and I was saying, I'm not sure about this. Is this really on the nose and sort of a really cheesy moment? And is that going to land?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They just use silence, and he's like, hold still, and then there's just this moment where he pulls the leaf out of her hair, which obviously you can't see, but you really feel it.
But what made you so unwilling to come to the point at last? What made you so shy of me? And when you called here, you looked as if you didn't care about me.
Because you were grave and silent and you gave me no encouragement.
Well, I was embarrassed.
So was I.
They just have this ability to take anything that could be extremely cheesy. They just fuse it with a kind of realism, and that's just because they're both really in the moment and they're both really going for it.
Is it that one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that waltz? That is, isn't it?
Maybe a 3/4. So.
Oh, yeah. The proposal scene with Mr Darcy and Elizabeth. It's a crucial moment in the story where Darcy and Elizabeth really come head to head.
In vain I have struggled. It will not do. My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you. The difference in our relations is so stark that no one, not my friends or family, nor of course myself, could ever be in favour of our union. But no matter how hard I try to command my feelings, I still feel for you a passion I've felt for no other, and no doubt I could feel ever again. There's nothing else to be done. I must ask you to consent to be my wife.
I might as well inquire why, with so evident a desire of offending me, you choose to tell me that you liked me against your will, against your reason, even against your character.
And it's the first time they've really been able to be honest with each other in any way and speak really openly and frankly with one another. So it's just an incredibly heated scene.
I had not known you a month before I felt that you were the last man in the world whom I could ever be prevailed upon to marry.
I thank you for explaining it so fully. According to you, my faults are heavy indeed, but perhaps these offences might have been overlooked had your pride not been hurt by my honest confessions of the scruples that had long prevented me from forming any serious design.
Thank you. Really good.
I just showed Dionne my goosebumps.
Yeah.
What is this? Oh, yeah.
Your word is law. From now on, I shall do everything you say. Only point the way, and I'll follow.
I think he's a decent man who has to survive a large household of quite excitable people, not least Mrs Bennet, who is given to catastrophizing, if not hysterical response to the world around her.
Mr Bingley watched Jane through the whole dance.
He didn't.
Well, she's the matriarch of the family, Mrs Bennet, and she is a complicated character, but she's really dedicated to sort of getting her daughters married and settled. You know, she's very scared of them being destitute. Oh, what is Bingley's 5,000 compared to 10?
Well, Mother, I think it's half.
It's nothing is what it is. She can be misread as just being an overbearing kind of comical character, but I think it all comes from that sense of wanting them to have some kind of security and what life was like for women at that time, not having that, it all being sort of like hinged upon a good match.
Now, you might think me very impertinent, but I wondered, how long has Mr Darcy been staying at Netherfield?
Yeah, Wickham's a really interesting character to play because he is multiple things to multiple different people depending on your kind of vantage point. And he has this quite disconcerting ability to separate himself from his own desires and how it might negatively impact someone else, and is seemingly very comfortable with lying as well.
Mr Darcy. Mr Darcy. Mr Darcy?
Got it. Great.
They're just going to play them all three. Just going to do that.
All 19.
That's the way to do it.
No, that's an idea.
Mr. Bingley is a very cheerful man. He's super optimistic. The one man in this show that doesn't have any pride or prejudice, and he's just out here trying to find true love. Oh, Darcy. She's an angel, isn't she? I wish I could dance with her all night. But her sister, Miss Elizabeth Bennet, she's also very pretty. And I don't think she currently has a partner. You should ask her to dance. In a story where there are loads of characters who are hiding how they feel the entire time, to have somebody come in with such a unguarded, raw presence, hopefully it's really refreshing. Now, tell me, Jane, what is the history of this hill? He's really sweet. I mean, as I was recording it, I was like, my cheeks were hurting. I was smiling so much. And that was partly me enjoying it, but also Bingley being such a Labrador. The world probably needs more of it. People just wearing their hearts on their sleeves and being openly themselves. So you mean yes?
Of course. Jane is the eldest Bennet daughter.
Well, that of course would be very lovely, but I don't wish anyone to go to any great expense for me. Or us, I mean. But if you wish to throw one for yourself, that would be different.
She's like the antidote to Lizzie's brashness and her fiery nature, and that these two people kind of inform each other and they learn from each other, and yeah, I think that's just like a beautiful two sides of a coin kind of energy between the two sisters.
It isn't reputed local beauty Miss Jane Bennet, is it? No, of course. All those smiles. And what of the second reputed local beauty, Miss Elizabeth Bennet? I saw you speaking.
Caroline Bingley is kind of Elizabeth Bennet's nemesis.
I am all astonishment.
Now, you feel her desperation throughout, and you watch her fail again and again, but it's so fun to see the absolute determination and how she tries to play these different cards in order to win a game that she's ultimately never going to win. I mean, I like those kind of people.
Your alliance will be a disgrace. My daughter and my nephew are destined for each other. And what is to divide them? The upstart pretensions of a young woman without family, connections, or fortune? Very well, I will leave. I take no leave of you, Miss Bennet. I send no compliments to your mother. You deserve no such attention. I am most seriously displeased.
Because of the period, one might think that it's sort of reduced to a higher social class, and it's not true at all. His primary themes are the conflict between class and the collision of class, which is why it's interesting to me.
Working on a project like this is really interesting because there's historic diegetic music. So I have to do research in order to understand kind of what I'm creating within that. First, I had a look at what kind of pianos were being used within the households of the time. You know, if we were at Mr. Bingley's estate or if we were at Longbourn, there's going to be different types of pianoforte, for example. One of the mandates that I got when I first came on the project was how do we, you know, not stray so far from doing a more classical score, but keep it really fresh and keep it modern, and what does that actually look like? So for me, it was about really trying to find a way of weaving moments that are really grounded in what the ensemble is doing, and then really making sure that as we move further and further into the episodes, that it's evolving to have lots of effects and textures that feel almost like you're listening to electronic music, but you're not. I think Pemberley struck me is that there's such an emotional breath of wonder. I really wanted to do something that just felt like she was being enveloped by the place, by the forest, by the water, by the house. Lizzie is gradually realizing that she has feelings for Mr. Darcy. I wanted that to feel pure, but really earthy. I mean, we all know that feeling of falling in love for the first time. It's heady and it's all-encompassing, and you just feel like you're kind of on a raft in space.
One of the things I love about recording audio is that it really does engage the imagination.
There's something about the simplicity of the setup that I don't know why I find it really freeing and somehow peaceful.
Yeah, and it's safe. You don't feel like you're being watched because you're not. So you can just let, you know, the emotional stuff come out a lot easier.
What Audible are trying to achieve and what Dionne's trying to achieve is to bridge the time between what feels like a classical piece of text and what is actually a really modern human story about want and desire and longing and about young people trying to find love and find their way in the world.
I mean, sad to say, I think it's still relevant today. You know, the pressures of being a woman and having to look a certain way and be a certain way.
It exists now, like small town gossip, not telling the truth, wanting more for yourself and not really having the means to do it.
I think there's definitely an idea about perception and how we perceive ourselves versus how we perceive others. How do we find ourselves in society? How do we honor our desires? How do we come to terms with our faults?
It's also a story about overcoming the obstacles that get in the way of seeing things as they really are.
It's a beautiful journey, ultimately, and the characters are so well written that I think people can kind of read it and latch onto various different characters within it.
I just feel so lucky that I get to read these lines, these iconic lines, and voice Elizabeth Bennet, who I think is just one of the greatest female characters of all time. It's a story about passion. It's not just a story for girls. And It's hot.